Who has time to take a break? Not this guy. Let's talk more Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Part of what we knew confirmed and coming for this weekend for D&D Celebration was the path of the Wild Soul Barbarian, now renamed Path of the Wild Magic Barbarian, and the Genie Warlock. So that being said, what I'm going to do for you is give a split screen. Right side of the screen is going to be the Unearthed Arcana. Left side of the screen is going to be the preview. And get this, they gave us the whole preview, right? The whole class, not just like 2 or 3 levels like I thought we were going to get. So let's see how they differ. I have not looked through these already. This is a first blush impression. You're going to get my experience as we go through it. Let's take a look. So here we go. I'm going to move myself over here to the middle and shrink myself down so we don't really block too much stuff. So we can see over here, originally we got our Lingering Magic ability and Wild Surge at level 3. Here we now get Magic Awareness. As an action, you can open your awareness to the presence of concentrated magic until the end of your next turn. You know the location of any spell or magic item within 60 feet of you that isn't behind total cover. When you sense a spell, you can learn which school of magic it belongs to. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So proficiency bonus as the mechanic seems to be a thing. This might fix some of the issues we've had in the past with other subclasses if we were to go back and adjust those. For example, making Arcane Archer's Arcane Shot tied to proficiency bonus and not just twice short rest or whatever it is, long rest. Okay, so originally it was called Lingering Magic, and it was you can cast Detect Magic without expending spell slots. Con was your modifier, and you can use it Constitution modifier times per long rest. We have simply changed that to no longer be casting the spell, which is good because in theory that means you can do it while raging, and that's probably the decision that they made. You can't cast spells while raging. This is not a spell. This is just you sensing things. So that's good. And then we had Wild Surge. We do have it both times. So originally, it was when you enter a rage, roll on the table. Constitution is the DC determiner, and it is a D8 table. When you rage, roll on the table. If the effect requires a saving throw, it is Constitution based, and it is also still a D8 table. So number 1 we had was each creature, or necrotic energy bursts from you. Each creature within 30 feet takes a D10 necrotic damage, and you gain hit points equal to the sum of the necrotic damage dealt to those creatures. Each creature of your choice, as you can see within 30 feet, must make a, here we go, must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take a D12 necrotic damage. You gain temporary hit points equal to a D12 plus your Barbarian level. So this is not as broken or as OP as I made it out to be in the original one, which I thought was pretty nutty because it was the sum. This, I think, went hard the other way, maybe a little too hard. Because it's a con saving throw or take a D12 necrotic damage, you get temporary hit points equal to the D12 plus your Barbarian level. Barbarian level is a static number, so that's important. But it's a D12, which is nice. Barbarians like to use D12, so that works out well. I don't love the con saving throw. Or worse, I don't love the con saving throw or no damage. If it was the con saving throw for half damage, and maybe, on a failure, you gain temporary hit points equal to a D12 plus your Barbarian level. And then, on a success, they take half damage and you gain half that number. That, I think, would be better. Okay. 2, we teleport up to 20 feet to an unoccupied space. Until your rage ends, you can activate this effect again on each turn as a bonus action. It was up to 30 feet and as a bonus action. So that's fine. So all they did was increase the range from 20 to 30 feet. You conjure 1d4 intangible spirits that look like flumps. Wonderful. In a non-occupied space within 30 feet. Each spirit immediately flies 30 feet in a random direction. At the end of your turn, all spirits explode, and each creature within 5 feet or one or more of them must succeed on a dex save or take 2d8 force damage. Pixie or flump, now you get the choice, and only one spirit appears within 5 feet of you, appears within 5 feet of one creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet. At the end of the current turn, it explodes. Each creature within 5 feet of that must succeed on a dex saving throw or take a d6 force damage, as opposed to 2d8 force damage but there is still a dexterity saving throw, and it is still a dex saving throw or no damage. Until the rage ends, you can use this effect again, summoning another spirit as a bonus action. So previously it was a D4, and they just kind of flew in a random direction. This is a 1, you pick an area within 30 feet and explodes at the end of the turn, and everybody around it. So if you can grapple or lock down somebody to be near this, but they still need to make a D6 or a dexterity saving throw or take a D6 force damage. I don't like that it's not a D6 plus a static number. I don't like, maybe it does increase. Maybe we missed out on that earlier on. Maybe the levels of the spells increase. But I do like that it's repeatable. But I would love if it was dex save or half damage. But again, maybe that's fixed. We didn't read through everything yet. 4 is Arcane Energy shrouds you. You get a +2 to your AC, and whenever a creature within 10 feet of you hits you, they take force damage equal to your con mod. Now, a bolt of light shoots from your chest. Another creature of your choice within 30 feet must make a con save or take a d6 radiant damage and be blinded until the start of your next turn. You can do this every turn as a bonus action. Okay, so it's a ranged attack, con save, or blinded. Not bad. 5, plant life temporarily grows around you. The ground within 10 feet of you is difficult terrain until your rage ends. 5 is now whenever a creature hits you with an attack before your rage ends, they take a d6 force damage. That one's great because it's retributive damage, always on. A d6 force damage. I like that. 6 was Arcane Energy taps into the minds of those around you. Each creature within 30 feet must make a wisdom save or see a glimpse, or you see a glimpse of their thoughts, learning how it plans to attack you. As a result, that creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the start of your next turn. 6 is until your rage ends, you are surrounded by multicolored protective lights. You gain a +1 to AC, and while within 10 feet of you, your allies get the same bonus. That's nice, ally AC bonus. 7 was shadows weave around a weapon of your choice that you hold. Until your rage ends, it deals psychic damage, and it gains the light and thrown properties with a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. If you drop the weapon or throw it, it dissipates and reappears in your hand at the end of your turn. 7, flowers and vines temporarily grow around you until your rage ends. The ground within 15 feet of you is difficult terrain. It was 10 feet before, and it was plant life. Now it's flowers and vines. And it kind of fits more with the Fey Wild Magic. And 8 was a beam of brilliant light lances from your chest in a 5-foot wide, 60-foot line long. Each creature in that line must make a saving throw or take 2d8 radiant damage and be blinded until the start of your next turn. So they replaced the 4 with the original 8, and it's a creature of your choice, not a line. And 8 is now looks like it's 7. Magic infuses one weapon you're holding until the rage ends. The weapon's damage type changes to force, and it gains the light and thrown properties with a normal range of 20-60. If the weapon leaves your hand, the weapon reappears in your hand at the end of the current turn. So just a cleaner wording, but all in all, good. So we had originally now 6-level magic reserves. As an action, touch a creature and roll a d4. The creature recovers an expended spell slot of a level equal to the number rolled. If the creature you touch can't roll a spell slot of that level, they instead gain temporary hit points equal to 5 times the number rolled. You take force damage equal to 5 times the number rolled. And then when you reach 14th level, you can increase this die to a d6. Now, bolstering magic is what it's called, and it's as an action you can touch one creature, which can be yourself, and confer one of the following benefits. For 10 minutes, that creature can roll a d3 whenever making an attack roll or an ability check, and add the number rolled to the d20. Just make it a d4 and make it bless. Just make it simple. Who has d3s? And people don't want to do the d6 and have it. Roll a d3. The creature gains 1 expended spell slot, the level of which equals the number rolled or lower, the creature's choice. Once the creature receives this benefit, they can't receive it again until they finish a long rest. That's kind of what I had figured was going to happen. You can take this action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and regain all expended uses on a long rest. So previously it was unlimited. As long as you had hit points, you could do it. And people could just benefit from this immensely. Now it's a D3. Or here's what I say, Wizards. Keep it a D3 and give us a cool custom D3 that comes out in the dice set for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I'm okay if you give me a cool D3 to use for this class, but if not, make it a D4. All right, at 10, it was Arcane Rebuke. When a creature forces you to make a saving throw while you're raging, you can use your reaction to deal 3d6 force damage to them. Now we have Unstable Backlash. Immediately after you take damage or fail a saving throw while raging, you can use your reaction to roll on the Wild Magic table and immediately produce the effect rolled. This effect replaces your current Wild Magic effect. Okay, I thought the Wild Magic Surge table, which would have been interesting, but it's this table. So it's when you take damage or fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction to roll on the table, immediately producing the effect, and it replaces the current one. And it's when you fail a saving throw while you're raging. So you'd already have an effect up. You're generating a new one. 14 was Chaotic Fury. As a bonus action, you can re-roll the Wild Magic Surge table, replacing the roll with a new one. And now it is Controlled Surge. Whenever you roll on the table, you can roll the die twice and choose which of the two effects you would like. If you roll the same number on both dice, you can ignore the number and choose any effect on the table. That's pretty good, rather than having to make it, because they changed everything to be repeatable on your turn as a bonus action. That makes sense to remove the roll again as a bonus action. So now it's you just roll twice. If you happen to roll doubles, then you get to pick what you want, which is awesome. And if you don't, you get to choose which one you want. My only real, I think this is definitely way more balanced, and I may have gone a little hyperbolic on the statement when the last video where I was like, oh my God, it's the worst thing ever. You know, it was hyperbolic for the sake of a YouTube video, but also how I felt in the moment. I do think this is significantly cleaner. I don't love the D3. I made my point about that. I like proficiency bonus as a mechanic. I'd like to see it employed on previous classes. Go back and adjust that where things had a number. Like Samurai Fighters 3 times per long rest. Make it proficiency bonus times per long rest. Simple tweaks like that. And maybe we'll get them in this book. I doubt it, but maybe. Or as a DM, I recommend that you go back and change that yourself. Okay, so then the only other thing that I don't particularly love is the way that these are save or no damage. And that's just because that feels horrible. Like a whole crux of your class is this cool Wild Magic table. And if you roll 1, 3, or 4, you have an ability that, that might just do nothing. Because you don't gain temporary hit points if they don't take damage. You don't deal damage with the exploding pixie or flump. You don't deal damage with the laser beam from your chest. You know, if that's 3 out of the 5 options that could potentially just do nothing. And then you can use your bonus action every turn to potentially do nothing. And their Constitution, 2 of those are Constitution saving throws, and the other one is Dexterity. Those are 2 very common saving throws that a lot of enemies have in 5th edition. So they're things that could be easily replicated. Or easily succeeded upon, I should say. So I would make something in there that's half. So that at least one option that's half, if not all 3, so that they don't feel like they're wasting their turn using that ability. Again, it triggers automatically when they're raging, so it's not like it's the worst thing, but it triggers automatically when you're raging, and it's only limited by the number of rages you have. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this update. Again, it does state at the bottom, content subject to change prior to publication. As I stated, we're about 2 months out. I don't know how much changes they can make if there have been print copies, but maybe not. Let me know what you think. How do you think this stacks up compared to the original? Do you like it better? Do you not like it? What's your thoughts? What would you change? Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.